Sam Darnold, who has departed the Twin Cities. We knew he was not going back there. Did you see where he ended up? I assume you know by now. But there's a chance you actually have a life and are not possessed by the football demons. And pay attention nonstop. So if you missed it, we learned here at Fox Sports Radio that Sam Darnold has agreed to take his talents, wink, wink, nod, nod, to the Pacific Northwest. The former Minnesota Viking quarterback goes to Seattle, the team called the Seahawks. Not a lot of hawk there. The Seattle Seahawks get Sam Darnold a 3-year contract for $100 million. Includes double nickels in guaranteed millions. $55 million guaranteed. And somewhere you heard Crying Craig in Seattle crying. He was so excited about this move. $37.5 million for Sam Darnold coming up here in 2025. So he gets a lot of cash, not the greatest contract for a quarterback, but considering his very flimsy resume, Sam Darnold laughing at the amount of money that he's getting. So let us discuss the question, what stands out about Sam Darnold, now QB1 in Seattle? So I've got amnesia, Fortnite, and cupcake. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make some amazing gabagool. We're going to make the gabagool. All right, so the first thing that stands out, it's hard to argue at this point, the stubborn nature of the Seattle football team. You don't want to be the team that signs the one-hit wonder, because most of the time, the one-hit wonder, that's it. One hit, and that's all. And Sam Darnold, we mentioned he's laughing. He's laughing all the way to the bank here. $55 million guaranteed. And he didn't even have the complete season. He had some good numbers and all that, and you look at his resume of failure with the Jets, and then he bounced around. His passport has been stamped at places like Carolina, San Francisco, Minnesota, and he went to all those places trying to get rid of the stank that he had from his time with the Jets, and all it takes is one sucker, and the sucker is the Seattle Seahawks. They're the sucker. And it's confusing because it doesn't seem like they really are trying to win. They weren't trying to win when they had Geno Smith. They're certainly not trying to win when you sign Sam Darnold. You're announcing to the world, we're out of trying to win. You don't sign Sam Darnold to win. That's not the player you sign to win. You don't touch Sam Darnold if you're trying to win. But I just love the amnesia aspect of this story, that you're overlooking a clear design defect. There's a defect with Sam Darnold. There is. When the game is on the line, right, when it's nut-cutting time, you know what happens? He pukes. He pukes all over himself is what he does. Game on the line. We saw it in Minnesota. Vikings and Lions. Final game. Chance to be the number 1 seed. Number 1. In the entire NFL. And what does Sam Darnold do? He gets a seat in the cockpit on the Vomit Comet. Right there in the Vomit Comet. Puke! He puked all over the field, Sam Darnold. He did. And then he did it again against the Rams. No, I enjoyed that. I liked the Rams. I enjoyed when he rode the Vomit Comet against the Rams in that playoff game. It was wonderful. Had his tail between his legs. It was so good. All right, now, continuing with this theme of the hour here, but we turn the page. Have the Seattle Seahawks upgraded, going from Geno Smith, who they unloaded unceremoniously to the Raiders, said, here, take our trash. We'll make it look all pretty. You can have our trash. And going to Sam Darnold. So I'm shaking my head no on this. This is clearly not an upgrade. And they've managed to do the impossible. You would think if you got rid of Sam Darnold, there's a very low percentage chance you were going to get somebody who's worse. Now, I know the nerds like Sam Darnold, and anything the nerds like, I like to go away from in sports. So if the nerds are on that side, I go away from that. But just as a general rule here, you say, well, the Seahawks are going to improve at the quarterback position. But no, No, Sam Darnold, it's like the Fortnite emote, the sideways shuffle. They're doing a little sideways shuffle here, the Seattle Seahawks, and it turns out the sequel is about the equal. About the equal here. Darnold leaves Minnesota, and last I checked, the Seahawks did not acquire Justin Jefferson or Jordan Addison from the Vikings, and so Seattle is in the process of reshuffling the deck. And so they got rid of DK Metcalf. They kicked his ass out of Seattle. He was traded to Pittsburgh. Tyler Lockett, I guess they said he was too old, so they got rid of him. They fired his ass. And the Seattle Seahawks right now have Jackson Smith and Jigba, and that's it. Maybe there's other names. I don't recognize these names. They got one guy. And Sam Darnold, we've seen Sam Darnold with one guy that can catch passes. And you know what happens to Sam Darnold? He starts seeing ghosts. It's poltergeist here, there, and everywhere. It's poltergeist for Sam Darnold. And so it's like Seattle's like, they don't want to win. You don't sign Sam Darnold if you're trying to win. And yet they don't want to completely embrace the suck, which I'm okay. I don't like teams that embrace the suck completely, but it's a very odd situation here. And it's like not a total demo. They're trying to do some slight improvements here and there, and they don't want to tear the whole house down, but there's infestation of vermin in the house, and then you've got asbestos, and so there's a lot going on. All right, now, last word. So the Dallas Cowboys, now normally we would not talk about this move, but it's the Dallas Cowboys, and we are contractually obligated for obligatory mention of the Dallas Cowboys at some point through the overnight. And so I thought we'd just get it right out there in the open right now because the Cowboys made a move. The Dallas Cowboys made a move. That's right. Jerry Jones, we don't need free agency. Oh, you want to bet, Jerry? Want to bet? Jerry Jones, who belittled free agency, went out there with a humdinger of a move. Now, I don't know if you saw it or not. The Dallas Cowboys did sign a free agent or agreed to a deal. They can't sign it until Wednesday. But the boys are making a move. What did they do? Well, move over Emmitt Smith, the new running back of running backs for the Dallas Cowboys. They have signed former Bronco running back Javonte Williams to a 1-year contract. Way to go. Unbelievable. What a bold move by Jerry Jones. So does Dallas adding running back Javonte Smith count as a splash move? Does that count as... Well, only if you're deep inside the tushy of the Death Star, where the Cowboys practice at there, the Death Star. We imagine that Jerry Jones, when he eventually does talk to the media, will sing the praises, wax poetic about this running back from the Broncos. And it's akin to if you have a cupcake and you want frosting, don't spit on the cupcake and say you put frosting on it. But that's what's going to happen. And my supporting evidence on that, I will tell you that Javonte Williams broke a tackle on just 5.7% of his carries last season. There were only 11 running backs who saw at least 75 rushes that had a lower rate in the entire NFL. So he's in the bottom percentile at breaking tackles. But wait, there's more. Ramondre Stevenson to the Patriots and journeyman running back Alexander Madison, the only running backs in the entire NFL, we are told, who had a lower rush EPA than Javonte Williams, who is now a Dallas Cowboy. So Jerry Jones continuing to build up that Dallas Cowboy team. Oh, my. What a move. All right, it is the Ben Maller Show. If you would like to comment on any of this or anything else that happened, it is a busy time. And if you love the transaction, I just scratched the surface here with the story out of Seattle, and there's a bunch of other moves that have happened. The Jets have a new quarterback in Justin Fields. Looks like Aaron Rodgers is closing in on a deal to become a Yinzer, although not done yet. And the Houston Texans have traded their left tackle. I thought you're not supposed to do that. That's taboo. That's a no-no. But Laramie Tunsil leaving Houston, going to Washington. Do the Texans know something that we don't know? or are they a bunch of boobs? We will find out when the next NFL season comes around. A bunch of other lesser players changing teams as well that don't rise to the high crimes and misdemeanor of a mention here at the beginning of the program. But if you would like to be part, 877-99 on Fox. That's 877-996-6369. Also on the X machine, which I think is working. I guess there was an outage, but I was sleeping, so I didn't care. I mean, it didn't affect me at all. I'm not really on there during the day anyway. We're on there at night. We had no problems on our end, but saw a bunch of people freaking out. Oh, my